So today we're going to play again with some more of the upholstery fabric swatches that I picked up and show you a project that I figured out with them. I glued coffee dyed paper to the back of the ones that they still have the paper on the back. I wasn't able to, or I didn't bother to try to take it off. So this stiffens it up quite a bit, and I thought, well, this is almost stiff enough to be a journaling card or a tag. So I started to glue paper onto the backs, and of course you could do cardstock too if you wanted even more firm. This is still pretty flexible, but it will go down into a pocket without buckling. So I've put paper, coffee dyed paper on the back, trimmed around it, and left the zigzag inside the edge. That does make this edge a little fragile. So that's where, if you were concerned about that, some cardstock might be better. And then I glued them on with just glue stick and then set them out underneath a heavy weight overnight, just to make sure that they dried nice and flat. And they have. Then when I was doing that, some of the coffee dyed paper I use, some of my coffee dyed paper is not a full sheet. It's a part sheet where I've ripped it off the bottom of some paperwork that I did need to keep and kept the blank part at the bottom and coffee dyed it. So when I was doing some of those, I realized that I had some extra height up here. Instead of just cutting it off, I folded it over so that it gave this tab part at the top of these tags a little more stiffness. So I folded it over, glue sticked it, trimmed the corners, and punched a hole for a top tassel. So those have made, and I want to make some more of them today, and then we're going to come back and decorate a few. So I'll show you how I made these ones. I've brought out a couple more of these tabs that are these pieces of fabric that still have the backing on them. I'm going to do 3 striped ones. Trying to pick ones that I think I'll use first. There's a different kind of stripe. I don't seem to have any more of the checked ones. I love them together, the checks and the stripes. But anyway, we'll do these 5. So I just take my coffee dyed paper. And my glue stick. And what I did was I glued on the back of the fabric sample so that I'm sure I'm getting it right to the edges and not having it all over the remainder of the coffee dyed paper. So I think I want a lighter color around the fabric, and I'll let the back be darker. And get that fairly straight so I don't even have to trim this edge or this edge. I'm just going to reposition that. And I'll make this one a tag since I've got the extra height. I'm going to start by trimming down the one side of it. And I just let the fabric itself be my guide, because if it looks straight with the fabric, it's going to look straight. And then I'll take and fold this over so that it's just shy of the, actually I'm going to tuck that one in under the zigzag to accentuate it a bit. Just crease that and then glue that. And then I will cut my angles, and on the other ones I went right to the bottom. I think on these ones I'm going to go up a little higher. I need to make myself a little template for cutting these because I don't always get them just so. So that just goes in the scrap bin. And then I can cut my, punch my hole, but I think I will wait until they've firmed up a bit to punch the holes. So after they've sat overnight, that'll be stiffer. So there's one. And then let's do one that's just a journaling card, I guess you would say. It doesn't have the tag top. Again, I like the look of the lighter coloring on the paper next to the lighter coloring of the background of the fabric. And you can take your bone folder and just, this particular coffee dyed paper is a little crinkly, so doing that just sort of smooths out some of those wrinkles. It doesn't just look wrinkly, it is wrinkly. And I didn't bother to iron them. These ones I don't even think I put under a heavy weight overnight. I just had them, after they come out of the oven, I just laid them on the table in a pile, and then at the end of the day I just put them in a box sort of standing up, and they were just pretty tightly fitted into the box. But that doesn't really flatten them anymore, so that one's trimmed. And then I will see if I can do this now. Yeah, that just barely works. It's pretty thin. Sometimes it seems like it almost prefers to do a work on a thicker piece of paper or a couple pieces, but that smooths out those corners. And then we'll do another tag one, since we've got that kind of, actually that's got a slit in it there, so we'll move over to this side. What did I do there? That one. And that one. Let's do this one next. How would that look against? Yeah, let's do that against the darker. And just make sure I've got a clean spot to glue against. Luckily, I have a good supply of old brochures and paperwork that I can use to glue on that's ready to go in the recycling, but I can give it one more use before it goes, and that is just to be glued on to catch the excess glue, except the stuff that goes on my fingers. So there's that. We'll cut up the side. Straight on up. And fold this over. And glue that down. Now I've got one here that I kind of like the shape of, so I'm going to just use it as my template. I guess that's something I could always do, is grab another tag and use it if it's the right width. So there's those. And you see how it kind of wants to curl? After it's sat overnight, it won't do that anymore once I've had it weighted. And here's another different piece of paper. This one's more mottled. So I'll use that with this blue one. I'm just going to make sure. clean sheet. I'm going to start over here so I know that as I get closer, every one I do, I'll move a little closer to myself. Method to the madness. As there always is, a method to anyone's madness. This one isn't so wrinkled. It's amazing the different patterns you get from coffee dyeing without even trying. You know, my niece was helping me with it last week, and I'm sure that her technique was probably slightly different than mine. So that could be the reason for the difference. That one didn't work very well. Not quite the same, but we'll go with it. There's 4. I said I was going to do 5. Go back to this sheet. I just find doing this so relaxing. I could sit and make tags for hours. And sometimes I do. One of these days I'll have to do a flip through of my box full of tags, the ones that haven't already been put into journals and projects or given as gifts, just to show you what I've made, some of the different techniques and design ideas that I've had. So there's a few of those ready to go. Just have to be weighted and let them dry overnight. So we'll go ahead and decorate some of the ones that have already dried. And I pulled out my new-ish flowers. I thought I would see what would work on what. So with the turquoise, I probably want to do a purple. Maybe with this red, I'll do a red rose. Something like that, but maybe I need a little something underneath it, like a piece of lace. So I will cut a little square of lace. Actually, I'll leave it as a rectangle. It's a little narrower, make it a little narrower than the fabric underneath. And that will just stick down with glue stick. I don't want it entirely stuck down anyway. And then the flower can go on top of that. And I would probably use my little 3-in-1 glue for that. I'm just trying to decide whether I want the little, don't think I want that foam piece on the back. Take that off. So it's a little bit flatter. I'm going to play around with removing the top layer off of some of these, just to make them flatter, but I haven't done that yet. This seems like it might be clogged. So we'll switch to tacky glue. Good old Aileen. Put that sort of towards the top so that if it's inside a pocket, I can keep it in a low pocket and it's not gonna interfere. So that looks pretty. Doesn't need much more, maybe a green leaf or something. I think I need to go through some of my old silk flowers and find some just leaves. That one's probably a good color. So I just need to glue that and tuck it underneath. And that just gives it a little more oomph. And then for the topper, because we're using red, I'll use a red polka dot, really thin red polka dot ribbon. Double it over. It's not quite holding yet. Give that a minute. And we'll see what else we've got here. I don't think I want to do more roses. Let's see if these daisies look good with any of this. Here's some that are a little bit more subdued in coloring. So maybe just one that's sort of gray and red. Oh, that's a little too wide for there. That's too bad. This one also has a bit of a grayness to it. That might work. I think I'll switch this one out with this one, because I have lots that'll go with that I can do right now. Maybe my magnolias. I really love these. You know how when you just get something new and you just want to use it? That soft pink one maybe. And then the beige. Thinking maybe that one, but it's a bit big too. And none of these work with that turquoise. Purple will work with turquoise. Why don't I do a purple daisy with the turquoise and find something to... So here's where I could play around with removing the dot. And see if I can get, yeah, if I can get all that glue off of the underneath one, then I get 2 daisies out of it. See? Because that's complete enough for me. It's got a couple missing petals, but that adds to the whimsy. So I just gotta play at getting that extra glue off and a bit of the foam. I can do that. Lots of television jobs. And maybe for this, I'll do that soft pink little tiny flower on that beige. And I've got little snippets of some green that I can use underneath. Just want to cut them in little squares. So like for instance here, I could do this and this. Again, I want to keep my decor sort of up at the top. Because it's going to be a tag and likely be stuffed in a pocket. These little snippets I'll keep because I can have a cutout word or phrase and glue it over top of that or use them in clusters. And I think for that green, green one with the magnolia. The pink one with the magnolia, sorry. I think I want some of this lacy, it's not the right leaf for this flower, but I think maybe that or a piece of lace under it. I have my little lace carousel here. Now this stuff is a little roughly for me, but just a little snippet of it won't be too bad. And I could do something like this. Maybe instead of that, do something on a diagonal and then that. Something like that. And then I don't know about this one. This one seems to be a little more, less whimsical, I would say. It's gray. And do I have a gray chick? Don't think so. It's all the grays that are left. Yeah, there's some gray check. So I can add that under it, keep it sort of gray and white. And let's see how big that needs to be. Don't need to see a lot of it, but it kind of needs to be a little narrower than the stripe. That's the only thing with these narrow guys. Unless I'm okay with it hanging off the edge, it's going to have to be 3 small pieces. So there's that, and then this on top. And with that turquoise and purple, just need just the right color. There's some purple. Not quite right. Too dull. But I could maybe use this lighter one. And these were pieces that you can see the staple holes in them. So they were from the top of the sample book. But I saved them because I knew that I could do something like this with them. So that'll just add to that color scheme. And I might do that one like up in the corner. And then maybe, well, that's too big. And that's too good to cut. Maybe just a little snippet of some crocheted lace. Down this way, and then that can hide the intersection of the two, something like that. So maybe this needs a little something like that too. I think I'll do the crochet again. I've got a fair bit of this. It was the edging from around a tablecloth, so it's been sacrificed and being well used, every little snippet of it. It had holes and stuff that I wasn't going to be able to fix. So rather than try to worry about fixing it, I just decided to give it a new life. Don't think that one needs any lace. Don't have any grayish lace. So that's I think that's what we're going to go with. These back. Don't need that leaf. The one with the leaf looks really good, but I don't think the other ones need the leaf. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think they needed leaves, I'll go and get more leaves. So this one should be ready to, no, I think I need that other glue. Give it another touch. Maybe because I lifted it up and disturbed the glue when it was trying to dry. I'll give that another minute while I glue these things down. So I'm not going all the way to the edge. I like this to feel not plastered down. Just a little bit more free than that. I've got a nasty bit of glue on my fingernail. And then just sort of behind the solid parts of the doily at the top here should do it. Stretch that out a bit so you can see the blue better through it. And then I'm going to cut that off a little bit too. I don't want it so, don't want it to stick out quite that much. And I'll put that glue dot thing on the purple so that it'll lay pretty much flat against the doily for crochet. So there's that one. That'll need some purple string, which I think I have a little piece here. This is some jewelry cord from my jewelry days. This one might be too small, but we're going to give it a try. It's sometimes hard if they're too short to get them through there. Yeah, it's pretty short, but we'll go with it for now. And this one, I think I'm gonna cut this piece in half, so I've got it for another day. And then I'm gonna do this in half and half again, if it'll let me. I'll just do it in half. Let's see, I'm so decisive. I do like the little polka dot with this stripe. And then these will be kept for little snippets of something or other. And back to gluing down. It's so quiet in here. That's why this is so relaxing to do. Especially when I'm filming, because there's no other noise in the house when I'm filming, usually. If there is, then that's where you get the silent video with the music over top of it. And put that down there. I'm going to leave that dot, I think, because it just seems like it's the right height already. And they are sticky dots, but I'm just adding a bit of glue because it's going on fabric. I'm just going to put it just above the doily, the dot, so that it doesn't raise it up too much. And that might not have been exactly in the same spot as it was, but it looks good to my eye. And this little piece of lace, just along the hem, I guess you'd say, of it. That on a diagonal and kind of off to one side. And that one, I think, deserves to be left layered. And that is sticking out a bit on both sides, the lace and the flower. We'll see how that works. I don't think it'll be a problem if I keep it in a low pocket. Seeing what I have for ribbon. You know, I've got drawers and drawers full of ribbon upstairs, but let's see what I've got right handy. And then you can add a sentiment or some more collage elements. I like the simplicity of these, I think. I do have some pretty colored sentiments that I may pull out and add to them. If I do, I'll include the picture in the thumbnail. Or at the end of the video. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but apparently you can add like a back page, final picture at the end of the video. I haven't done it yet. I haven't dived into that part yet. Just concentrating on getting some videos made and getting comfortable with it, and gradually I will work on getting better at all the different parts and pieces of it. So that one you don't even see the check very much. Maybe I'll just move this down just a touch there. And I don't have any green. I've got a fair bit of this white. This is white satin ribbon that I received in a swap. Some of you might recognize it. I coffee dyed it last week. It didn't really take the coffee dye very well, but it did change the color. It's just not as drastic a change as I was kind of hoping for. I was kind of hoping for more of a cream color, but it muddied it up a little bit, so it wasn't so stark. I'll have to try with food coloring. It might work better, but I think it's just the type of fabric it is that it doesn't take dye well. But usually food coloring will stain just about anything. That didn't cut very well. These are my paper scissors, so that's probably why. I need to get some labels for my scissors so that I know which scissors are for paper and which ones are for ribbon and fabric. And when I didn't put hole protectors on these either, I kind of intended to. You get ahead of yourself, especially when you're doing a video. You're aware that you don't want it to be an hour and a half long. But I'll show you what I mean. On this little tag here, I put the little hole protectors around. And this one I made into a little notepad. So I put cardstock on the back, stapled the paper to the cardstock, stapled right through to the front actually, and then this little piece of contrasting, coordinating fabric covers the staple. And so I thought that one was pretty cute too for a little notepad, little list pad. So there's the 5 tags. I didn't even decorate any of the journaling cards, but there's the 5 tags decorated for you. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have a friend that you think might enjoy seeing it, please share. Tell me which one of these is your favorite, or tell me what I needed to add to them to make them perfect in your eyes. And please like the video if you enjoyed it. Like it if you didn't enjoy it. And please subscribe. I would really love to have you part of the Thistledew family here at Thistledew Creations. And thanks for watching. Have a nice day.